Hi YouTube,
Hi.
Tony and Natalie, and we're going to talk about a few books which are of interest to everyone, especially ladies.
Oh. Let's see.
Okay, and so it's going to be more about, people and food and shoes.
Shoes. Tony still thinks that I'm into shoes for some reason. I don't know why. I have never told him that I'm into shoes. So let's see.
But shoes is a female thing, so I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see about it. So the first book is Eat Right for Your Type by Dr. Peter J.D. Adamo, and he just simply describes different types and how different diets and different quantities and food intakes are good for different body types. Personally, I think it's a great book, and I applied some of it to my life and it worked and I felt really okay, but obviously I had little willpower to continue with the thing. What do you think about his ideas?
Well, first, I think we should mention that this book is about diets based on your blood type, right?
Yeah.
It's about blood type. So what's your blood type?
I think it's O. I have a very rare blood type. Yeah, I think it's
So
O.
how did you apply this into your life?
Well, it's just simply eating right and trying to portion control according to my weight as well.
Okay. So I also have O blood type,
Okay.
and I did little research when I was on the first course of the university. I have a physiotherapy degree, so I tried this diet on myself, and back then I was really into diets and I thought it will help me to feel better and lose weight. Not necessarily that I need to lose weight.
Yeah.
But it was just my back in the head. And I think this might work. It has some scientific provement, but I don't believe in that because I simply don't believe in diets. I think eating intuitively is way better for your psychology and for your body.
So what if you overeat then? Intuitively overeat?
No, this is about intuition because we don't need that much food actually, and when we bring ourselves into balance, then you start feeling what you want, and it's even okay to eat sugar or drink Coke sometimes if it's all in moderation and if you really feel like it, but not because you want to switch your mind from the problems, because oftentimes we tend to eat something sweet, or we have cheat days or cheat meals because we simply cannot cope with the emotions that we have inside. And about this book, I think it's not very healthy for psychology, especially for people or women, mostly women, because women have this mentality of restriction or trying to dig deep and find problems inside. I don't think it's a good book psychologically because it is very restrictive. But based on my blood type, I was supposed to eat certain things, and I was not supposed to eat things that I like. So why should I force myself to eat what I don't really like because it's my type of blood and type of diet, and just skip things that I don't like to eat just because the book says so, or just because I have zero blood type? To me, it doesn't make sense, and then I feel bad and restricted, not satisfied. And what happens after some time, the negativity accumulates, and then I have a big cheat day or binge, which is not healthy. We all know that. So I don't think it's a good book.
Well, I think we just opened a can of worms there, but she talked a lot about willpower, about how people feel about themselves, and this brings us to this book, Willpower. Discover it, use it, get what you want, by Ross Taylor. When I read this book, it was a pretty interesting read. It just simply said that willpower is like a muscle. You don't automatically get it. You work at it, every single day or every single second, or maybe over a year time. And it's something you have to constantly work on it to be able to develop it. So you don't just get willpower. Some people think they just got it, but maybe their circumstances, help them to be in the position where they could exercise some sort of a willpower. But I found that the book was, I tried to apply it to my life, to an area of which I kind of like struggle with, which is like having six-pack abs. As you can see, I don't have any. And I still don't have any. But I learned a lot of valuable lessons here and how to move forward. So what do you think about willpower and food, or willpower and other things? Is there anything in your life you're struggling with which you think you might need willpower in?
Yes, but also I question what is willpower, because sometimes willpower can be also against your true self.
Okay.
Against your core, because this willpower can be forced to you from the outside. Again, you're not listening to yourself, but you're listening to the whole society. Let's say nowadays in our life, you have to be successful, and you're successful when you, let's say, have money and you have Bentley or you have designer clothes, and to get all that you need to have willpower to, you know, start a business, let's say. But what if you're an artist and you don't like businesses like I am? I've been into this situation where I worked in a company thinking that, oh, I will learn about business and I will succeed very fast and I will start my own company, or in that company I will succeed and, you know, get higher pay. And it didn't work because it was all against my core desires and my true self. So I struggled a lot, and also the company where I worked in was not developing that fast because I was not a suitable person. So does it mean that I didn't have willpower? Did I have to push myself for 2 years more, or it's a very questionable thing.
Well, I personally believe that sometimes your environment can be the main issue when it comes to success.
That's true.
Success, and sometimes as well, if we don't put ourselves in different situations, we would not know if we can be good at it or not. For example, my arithmetic is really, really bad. My math is really bad, but I do okay when it comes to trading. My computer skills are absolutely rubbish, but still I do well with an IT company. So
yeah, I agree. But your willpower, it comes from the consciousness, because you consciously realized that you want to do that. You have a certain goal, and you're ready to contribute to achieve that goal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when your willpower is not conscious, then it brings more of a struggle and more of disconnection from yourself.
So why don't you see it as a discovery, as discovering another side of yourself? If you're doing something which you might think is against your willpower, obviously not something which is illegal or something which destroys your moral self, but just having a new experience. For example, skydiving. You know,
right.
You might be scared of heights or scared of aeroplanes or whatever, but if you went skydiving or bungee jumping, that's something which is out of your comfort zone, but that might be able to increase your willpower. Or swimming, for example. I'm a really bad swimmer, but I try to learn to swim because I know it's a skill you need to have. So that I think even though it's out of your comfort zone, sometimes I think we are on this earth to be able to push ourselves onto to learn who we are, and unless you try a few different things and push your boundaries a little bit more, you would never know how far you can go or what you can achieve. Same like I'm not very good with the camera, but here am I on the camera. So on to the next thing. This one, sugar detox. Simply
I haven't
talks.
read that book.
Yeah, she hasn't read the book. I read a lot of the book, and it simply talks about basically sugar, how much sugar we consume, how the sugar and everything. And I started watching my sugar intake, and I also realized that when I stopped eating sugar for a while, although I love ice cream, I must confess,
Yeah.
I love ice cream, I challenged myself to stop eating sugar for a month, and I realized that it was a bit like a drug. You know, where if you don't have a sugar fix, your brain starts having different feelings. You start feeling differently. And it was a really, really good book about how much sugar, just to enlighten us about how much sugar is in everything, and how sugar affects us, and the negative aspects of sugar, you know, and different cultures, how different cultures perceive the intake of sugar, Asians, Africans, and everything else. And I personally believe in Europe there's so much sugar consumption, unnatural sugar consumption, compared to other cultures or other food cultures like African food or Asian food or or Latino food. So what do you think about sugar, for example, sugar detox? You're a vegan. I know you try to avoid.
Being vegan doesn't necessarily mean that you will be super healthy, and being not vegan also doesn't mean that you will not be healthy, because it's again it's all up to us and listening to our intuition and inner self and finding something that suits you. So I don't consume conventional sugar for 4 years, I think.
Why? Why is that?
It was like 4 years ago. There was a big change in my life.
Okay.
I went to the next level, you know, in my life. So I changed a lot for better, because I wanted to improve, live better, healthier life. So I stopped eating sugar, and in the past I used to eat a lot of sugar. Like, I remember I would study in the library for the exam, and I could eat 300 grams of chocolate in one sitting, which obviously has a lot of sugar, and I have a sweet tooth till that day, even if I don't eat sugar. So, but I can tell that there is a significant difference in the way you feel, and sugar is really like a drug. And even not that, you know, processed white sugar, but as now my taste buds have like cleaned up, I can feel if it's too chemical or too processed or too sugary, and my body feels right away. I feel it's not natural, and then I can feel that my heart starts to pump and I don't feel good. But also our bodies adjust. So if you're used to eating a lot of sugar, you will not feel the change. But if you don't eat sugar at all, even 1 teaspoon will make a big difference in the way you feel.
So guys, cut down on sugar. It's bad for you. And one way of cutting down on sugar is running. Shoes. Yeah. So this book is written by the founder and owner of Nike, the world's most popular, one of the world's most popular shoe brands. And he just talked about his beginnings and going through life until he was 24. He had no clue on what he wanted to do in his life.
I still have time. Good. I'm not 24 yet.
And when he was at university, what he did like to do was run, and he was also part of the athletics team, like long distance running team. He was very close to his trainer as well, and his trainer was always finding ways of improving their running time. So his trainer this was like 1950s, 1960s, and his trainer was always trying to modify their shoes to make sure that they could run faster. And while he was at university, he wrote a project on shoes, on how to get cheap shoes from Asia, and then bring the shoes to America, because the shoes were a lot more interesting. And from there, after he finished university, he worked as an accountant just to have a stable job. But then he had this inner yearning about wanting to do something about shoes, and he got some money, decided to go to Asia, but then spent 1 year off in some other American city. Finally went to Asia, and then he started selling. I forgot what they call the shoes. They have a very, very popular design. It's a bit like the Adidas design, but it's a very popular Japanese shoes. He started selling those shoes and importing them to America, and he made his coach his 50-50 business partner. And they imported the shoes in America for a while, and things were going on, and there was so much politics within him and the Japanese company. Then when they ship the stuff to him, he sells them. His turnover was like doubling, tripling every single time he sold shoes, and it just exploded. So he just talks more about business, about some guy who knew nothing about business but had a passion. By the way, he had an accounting degree. He was a CPA, professional accountant, but he wasn't really passionate about business because this was not what he wanted to do. And he, anyway, long story short, he switched from the Japanese company to opening his own company and his own factories. And then from there, because he wanted to compete with Puma, he had to branch into other things like shirts, hats, the whole sports apparel, and then also he realized the importance of having professional athletes endorse his products. That's when everything shut up. And at the end of the thing, he just says that he's really surprised on how far he's come from life, and he did not really set up to become a billionaire, but he was really happy. And I love the book. It's a pretty good book. You know, it's a very interesting book. So ladies on the shoes. What's your experience about shoes?
Well, usually when it comes to ladies in shoes, we all think about high heels and Louis Vuitton or, you know, those high fashion brands. But personally, strange to admit, I have never owned a pair of Nike shoes.
So I need to get you a Nike. I need to get you a pair of Nike. Yeah, go ahead.
Even though I was a professional sportsman and I also ran a lot, but I never used Nike shoes.
So what brand did you use?
Adidas.
Okay.
Echo.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Are they good? Are they good? Did you like them?
Echo are pretty good for running. They have a special collection or model for running. It has a very thick base, how you call it?
Yeah, but sole. Yeah, the
sole.
sole. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Adidas are good for indoors training, like, I don't know, group trainings like body pump or whatever.